Alright, welcome back to another episode of Talk It Out. I sound weary to be in this episode. So the first topic I want to get into today is obsession. A lot of people hold that obsession is inherently unhealthy. And in many ways it's easy to see how, for most people, it could be the case. I'm sort of coming to grips with the fact that I am a little bit obsessive and I have these obsessive tendencies. And what I mean by that is you can hear, if you watch my stream enough and you've even watched these videos enough, you can hear how sometimes like I seem to get stuck in a loop where I keep coming back to the same topic point. I'm trying to control that a little bit more, but I think the reason for that is like my brain can't, it feels like it hasn't done a good enough job explaining something, so I need to come back and hammer it home, or I feel like somebody in the audience or something like that might not understand, so I need to come back and hammer it home again. And it's that comes across in all facets of my life, and for me, obsession it's a double-edged sword. It's something I really want to learn to control, because I think that with a crazy amount of mental discipline, I would be able to maybe not turn it on and off at will, but definitely mitigate the effects when they're unfavorable. For example, for anybody who watched my stream last night, which was Wednesday, November 14th, you'll notice that I was a ball of rage, just an absolute ball of rage. I got really mad, probably the angriest I've ever been at Rocket League since I smashed a hole in my desk about 1.5 years ago. It's not something I'm proud of. At first I was mad, and then I got off stream and I sort of took a few breaths, and then I was like really disappointed in myself and embarrassed, because that's not really who I am. I know that's what everybody says, right, when they've, done something fucking stupid, but like I don't really have a problem with rage. Like, I've never had an issue with rage. So I've been trying to just one sec here. Yeah.
This won't be easy, but that's why Talos keep you.
Talos keep me where? Why would you not immediately put me there? Like, come on. Okay. So, obsession. Why it's a good thing for me sometimes and why it's not. So yesterday we saw that I was an incredibly big ball of rage, and I'm not a ragey person. I'm generally pretty laid back. I don't get too spun up about a lot of things, but for whatever reason, Rocket League really spins me up, and I've spent a lot of time, for lack of a better word, obsessing over this, because I want to get to the bottom of it so I can get past it, because it's something I don't like about myself, and I don't like when I can't control aspects of myself, and I feel like this is beyond my control. So I'm trying to get to the root cause, and I've come up with several hypotheses. You guys have heard me say them, everything from playing to improve rather than to win, or my biggest streaming fear being if I suck too much that people won't watch me, and I think there's truth in all of those. But I think that the root cause is the mechanics of my mind tend to obsess. And I said this to Nullsprite, one of my subscribers. We were talking on Discord today, and I was like, last night I was kind of thinking about it, and I watched a bit of the footage back because I think it's important to see myself in that way even when I'm at my worst. So I was thinking to myself, like, what's going on? And I was talking to Nullsprite about it, and I was like, you can see even last night I was so mad that even when I did something cool, I would celebrate it for like 3 seconds, whereas if I did something bad, I would get mad about it for the rest of the game, into the lobby, into the next game. Like, it was just toxic, and it was poisoning my my concentration, everything, and it just spirals into itself, because then I started getting meta mad, where I was mad about how mad I was, and then it just sort of spirals out from there. It's no good. And I think the problem is that I have this tendency to run things over in my mind over and over and over and over and over. Even when I think I've figured them out, I still run it over and over, and this is a negative in this case. What's up, Rayloff?
Well, look who it. Good to hear. I need this.
Yeah.
Huh? Nice. I'm not. But never mind all that.
Uh-huh.
We found a.
You're getting in the way of my content, dude.
Should be fun. You should wait until
All right,
night
sneak into the
before
fort.
trying to sneak in.
You should wait until nightfall before shutting the hell up. Actually, you shut the hell up now. So, this is a good and bad thing. And I mentioned, it's a bad thing in this scenario, and I mentioned how it could be a good thing. That obsession, those tendencies I have to be focused on something like that is exactly where my focus comes from. Like, that's where my focus comes from. That's why I'm able to sit in free play for 3 hours and grind like there's no tomorrow. You know, a lot of people find that incredibly boring. And for me, sometimes it definitely gets boring for sure, but for the most part, I don't mind because I'm able to either do other things while I'm doing that or, you know, want to get better so badly that the want to get better overpowers the boringness. Don't you dare. It's fine. Turn around. Go look at that. Oh, God damn it. These guys are juke machines, dude. But essentially, yeah. So if I could learn to control this, that would be great, because then I would be able to reap the benefits without having to suffer the rewards, or reap the benefits without having to suffer the detriments as much. But that's not really how it works. I am really bad at this. Excuse me? What are these hitboxes? Die. What was that? Oh yeah, you have to be like not moving, otherwise the arrows launch off in a really weird direction for some reason. But obsessive tendencies and obsession in general. So what I'd really love to do is go and talk to like a qualified medical professional about this shit, because I think it's important to learn about yourself if you don't know. And who better to tell you than somebody who you can talk to about this stuff, who's studied why these things happen. Unfortunately, that's pretty prohibitively expensive where I live. Like, I was talking to one of my friends who goes to therapy and stuff like that, and she was saying that hers is $120 for an hour session. And this isn't, I don't think this is something pretty fundamental about me, so I don't think it's something that I could just, you know, waltz in, have an hour session, be like, all right, I ranted for an hour, now tell me what you think, you know? So this would be a long-term thing. So what I need to do in the meantime, since I can't afford it, is I need to learn how to mitigate it the best I can. So you're mad. So I've been toying around with ideas like meditation or something, because I think that the root problem is mental discipline. While I do have this laser focus, it's fairly raw and unrefined. So I can't really control how crazy focused I can get. I can get crazy focused, and I'm starting to develop a way to like will myself into that and sort of force myself to be that way, but I don't know how to turn it off. So it's really good when I'm doing stuff that requires, you know, a lot of focus that maybe I don't want to do, like so for example, I'm at work. Oh, I didn't want that. I thought that had a symbol on the cover. I'm at work and I did a task today where I had to rename a whole bunch of emails, like 800 emails, and all I had to do was open each email, look for the date of the most recent message in the thread, and then close it and rename the file with that date appended to the beginning of it. So that's pretty boring. Not exactly the most fun, not challenging, but the reason that stuff doesn't bother me is because I focus on it a lot for a short period of time, to the point where I've got it down to basically muscle memory and bare minimum, like, how mad is that guy? Right through the dome. And so I can, and then I also focus on, you know, making sure that my process that I'm doing it is as foolproof as possible, considering that I'm not going to be spending much more effort on it. So in that vein, what ends up happening is I can craft a really efficient process, and then I can just fuck off and not deal with it. Or sometimes when it requires, like scanning, for example, the scanner that we use has a tendency to jam. So I have to basically watch the scanner the whole time as it scans like hundreds of pages of documents. Not the most fun thing. But the way that I get around that is I can think of other things while I'm doing this. How does that miss? It's literally like under... Where are you going, sir? Sir. Excuse me, sir? Where is he going? He legit has no clue what's going on. Alright, big guy. So I'll, you know, It's the same way that I learned, you know, Rap God in like 3 weeks. I literally just listened to it over and over and over. You know? So this is kind of rambly and disjointed, and I didn't really have an idea of how I was going to talk about this because I'm really only just... And the crazy thing is, like, I do all this psychoanalysis of myself, and I present it like I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I absolutely don't. But, like I said, you know, I got to do what I got to do. So in the meantime, I might as well hypothesize and see what works and what doesn't. So you can kind of see how this is a little bit awkward because I'm not diagnosing myself. That's not at all what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to stay away from that, in fact, because I don't like when people are like, oh, I'm OCD about this. And it's like, that's like a serious thing, man. Like, you can't just like say you are that if you've been diagnosed, fine. Like, that's not what I mean. But if you're one of those people who's just like, oh my God, like, I've never been to a doctor in my life, but look at all these problems I have. It's just like, no, shut up. So I don't want to be one of those people. So it's funny how, you know, I've got on this train. I've only started realizing this about myself within the last few weeks, is I have these obsessive tendencies. And I don't really... It's kind of self-fulfilling, because if I do, then I would be obsessing about them like this. But if I don't, then I'm just, I don't know, weird and narcissistic, I guess. I don't know. So it's kind of a strange paradigm to be in. But so what I'm doing to mitigate that is I'm treating this as just a hypothesis. We're just trying things. We're seeing what works. Because at the end of the day, I got to get to the bottom of why this angers me so much. Why this fucking baby car soccer game. Yeah, just look over there. You're mad. Why baby car soccer angers me so much. And another reason I think, like, another theory I have is that I've never really had to compete at anything. Like, I've never played, like, competitive games very much. I've played, like, not with other people and against other people in real time. I've played things like Rock Band and N++, where they're competitive games and they're against other people and there's high scores and stuff, but they're high scores. You're not battling against somebody in real time. It's still very much a solo journey. Like, I have to put all the work in, and I get as many tries as I want at something and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Last but not least, let's go.
Let's go.
I was going to rot in here.
So yeah, definitely an interesting thing to think about. Like,
What's the plan?
what do you mean, what's the plan? Let's get the frig out of here, boys. Yeah. So that's sort of my tale of obsession and sort of my newest hypothesis as to why I rage so much at baby car soccer. So I'm going to experiment with some different things over the coming weeks, like meditation, you know, just messing around with stuff. If anybody has any suggestions for shit that they find has helped them with stuff like this, if they've ever been through, you know, issues like this before, by all means, leave it in the comments, because I'm very open to trying stuff. I'm trying to be more open in general to things. My ego's gotten too big recently as well. There's just so many factors that play into this shit, dude. It's so, when you start thinking about it and you start trying to improve, there's so much that you have to think about. But anyways, so that's topic number 1 on the day. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Hope it did something for you. Yeah. And we'll be back very shortly with episode 6, which is a different topic entirely, which is my love-hate relationship with grinding. So we will see you very shortly. Bye!